Well, Ed, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It's true that the next stop on this trip is Honolulu, but I'm told by my staff that there won't be any surfing. It's all work. It's all work. But look, it is great to be here amongst so many people who are enthusiastic for Texas, enthusiastic for the United States, and also enthusiastic for the opportunities that the relationship between Australia and the United States provides in so many ways. It's great to be in the presence of my friend and colleague Andrew Robb, the Minister for Trade and Investment, who's been absolutely indefatigable in promoting our country and the benefits of freer trade between nations. It's fantastic to be here with our Ambassador, Kim Beazley, my former parliamentary colleague, who is doing an outstanding job here in the United States. Of course, we have another former Leader of the Opposition and another former Ambassador, Andrew Peacock, my great friend Andrew Peacock, a terrific Australian. And I suspect, Andrew, a more authentic honorary Texan these days than I am, mate. But great to have you here. And also, speaking of former ambassadors, Tom Schiefer, very good to have you here with us tonight. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a real pleasure to be here in Houston at the Asia Society Texas Centre. Like its sister society in Australia, the Asia Society Texas is dedicated to promoting understanding between nations. Few nations, I should say, understand each other so deeply or so well as the United States and Australia. We are more than allies, we are family. There are no countries with a stronger community of interest and values than ours. Our alliance exists to promote the universal decencies of humanity, not to threaten other countries. Around the world, we seek no privileges, ask no favours, crave no territory. Our shared preference is for more open markets, more humane societies, more democratic polities and more freedom under the law. And we share an optimistic worldview that embraces the future and all its tremendous and rich possibilities. Our relationship is a partnership for peace, for prosperity, and for greater harmony right around our region and the wider world, based on respect for the rights and dignity of every human being. People who share a language are never total strangers, and our particular partnership has the character of a warm and genial friendship. One of the founders of the Asia Society Texas, former First Lady Barbara Bush, said in her memoir that the people of Australia are warm, relaxed, and very much like Texans, the biggest compliment I can pay anyone. A Texan president, Lyndon B. Johnson, said after his plane during the Second World War made a forced landing in central Queensland that Australians are the best damn folks in the world, except maybe for the folks in Texas. And when Democrats and Republicans agree that Australians are like Texans, then you can take it as true. Certainly, the friendly and hospitable people of Houston resemble Australians. Like us, you look outward with confidence to meet tomorrow's challenges. The people of Houston see your city. You see your city as an energy capital in the Asia-Pacific century, and from the other side of the ocean, Australia shares with you a common interest in powering that future with abundant and reliable energy. Affordable, reliable energy fuels enterprise and drives employment. It is the engine of economic development and wealth creation. And Australia should, we really should, be an affordable energy superpower, using nature's gifts to the benefit of our own people and the benefit of the wider world. Plentiful energy from reliable suppliers like Australia and like the United States is essential for global growth. Australians have followed closely the success of America's shale energy revolution that's led to the United States once again becoming one of the world's largest producers of oil and gas. In fact, Australians have helped to make it happen, with BHP Billiton one of the largest foreign investors in US shale. Shale energy means more economic growth and more jobs for Americans. McKinsey estimates up to 1.7 million more jobs by 2020. And thanks to shale energy, the world gets a reliable, stable energy supplier with a commitment to markets and the rule of law. Sam Houston once said of Texas that, and I quote, "No country upon the globe can compare with it in natural advantages." Well, of course, General Houston never visited Australia. Our resources are also remarkable. Australia will soon be the world's #1 exporter of liquefied natural gas. We are already the world's largest exporter of black coal, and we are the world's 3rd largest uranium producer. We have significant resources of conventional gas and more than 1/3 of the world's known uranium resources. Western Australia alone is estimated to hold the 5th largest reserves of shale gas anywhere in the world. And we have an abundance of renewable energy, including some of the best wind and solar energy sources and large geothermal energy potential. A dynamic flow of investment and technology across the Pacific between Australia and the United States has helped to drive massive growth in Australia's energy production. Chevron's Gorgon LNG project is Australia's single largest oil and gas project investment. ConocoPhillips and Bechtel, based here in Houston, are currently building 4 of Australia's 7 new LNG projects using Bechtel's Cascade technology. Now, discussion about developing our natural resources often goes hand in hand with conversation about climate change and impacts on the environment. It is prudent to do what we reasonably can to reduce carbon emissions, but we don't believe in ostracising any particular fuel, and we certainly don't believe in harming economic growth. For many decades at least, coal will continue to fuel human progress as an affordable, dependable energy source for wealthy and developing countries alike. I want to repeat that. Coal will continue to fuel human progress. And this is one of the reasons why Australia is abolishing the carbon tax, because it has damaged our economy and increased energy costs for businesses and families. We're replacing it with a $2.5 billion fund that will prioritise cost-effective, targeted means to reduce emissions such as afforestation, soil carbon and cleaner power stations. It's an incentive-based approach that will support Australian businesses and households to lower their energy costs at the same time as reducing Australia's emissions. We're cutting red tape and getting rid of unnecessary regulation so that it's easier to do business in Australia while maintaining our high environmental standards. We're streamlining our decision-making, giving the green light to new projects worth over $500 billion since the new government was elected in September last year. And we're also actively seeking new markets, vigorously pursuing free trade with our key trading partners. In words that I'm pleased have already been quoted tonight, and which I'm sure would be rather familiar to this Texas audience, on the night of my election I declared that Australia is open for business. Now, I know that Governor Perry declared that Texas is wide open for business because everything's got to be bigger and better here in Texas. But I say to Governor Perry, in the spirit of healthy competition, that Australia will be hard to beat. We recently concluded an economic partnership agreement with Japan and signed a free trade agreement with South Korea. And again, I pay tribute to Andrew Robb for his extraordinary work in this area. We've also accelerated talks towards a free trade agreement with China. The recently signed free trade agreement with South Korea will ensure that Australia's mining resources, including petroleum and natural gas, will all become tariff-free over 10 years. We now have trade agreements with 7 of our top 10 trading partners, and we're working with President Obama to achieve a Trans-Pacific Partnership agreement that is as comprehensive and as ambitious as possible. Trade is an essential part of building a stronger and more prosperous Australia and a stronger and more prosperous world. Trade and commerce with Asia is thriving. 3/4 of our exports are to Asia. Australia is a gateway to a region of immense opportunity. And because we're more than trading partners, because we are good global citizens, we are seeking to improve the operations of the world energy market. Because the global energy landscape has changed dramatically in recent decades. Emerging economies have become major players, and the balance of energy trade has shifted towards the Asia-Pacific region. As this year's president of the G20, Australia wants global energy institutions to reflect this reality, and we want to make energy markets more transparent, more resilient and more efficient. So, my friends, I do believe that the similarities between Australia and Texas are striking. Our populations are roughly equal, with prosperity especially flowing from our energy, minerals and tourism. We do both look outwards to the wider world, but particularly to the Asia-Pacific region. While Australia is the world's 12th largest economy by GDP, on its own, the state of Texas is the 13th. Mark Twain visited Australia in 1895 and he praised our spirit of independence, and likewise the independent spirit of Texas is the stuff of legend. Each year in Australia, a special service is held to remember the crew of the USS Houston, which was sunk alongside HMAS Perth in 1942 in the Battle of the Sunda Strait. Heroes to the last, fighting a much larger force. And I've been buoyed to see evidence everywhere in this city of Australians and Americans working together to meet the world's energy needs. To that end, I am able to announce the establishment of an Australian Consulate General here in Houston to promote and facilitate our links. Queensland should not be the only Australian government represented by a consulate, but let me do say that Nana Booker has well and truly alerted us to the possibilities of this city. It's her work that we wish to build on, and her 14 wonderful years as our consul in this city have made their mark, and she will forever be Honorary Consul Emeritus here in Houston. So, my friends, let me conclude on this note. The modern world is unimaginable without energy. Energy consumption defines prosperity. And as a world energy capital, this city is helping to power much of our planet. And there is so much more that we can do together to end energy poverty and to give people everywhere the better life that we all seek. Thank you very much.
I have to ask the Prime Minister to stay up here for a moment and ask Nana Booker and the Executive Director of the Asia Society, Vanna Cole, please have a seat. Please have a seat. We have we're so honored to have you visit us, and that's huge news that we're going to get this an Australian Consul Generalship here in Houston. We're so excited to hear that. Now that you're an honorary Texan, we have something special, a customary gift when you come to Texas. A Stetson, a cowboy hat. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this concludes our program, but if we have our presenting sponsors to come up here to have some pictures with the Prime Minister, Ryan, and the Chevron Texaco and BHP, we can have a picture. Tony, we need you back up here, Prime Minister. If we could have our presenting sponsors back up here, please.
Looks like